Back again, folks. This is number 13. This is sort of a couple of things I wanted to cover. One, is the government looking out for us in all ways? Of course not, they can't. And number two, colonic irrigation. Yep, that first word should give it away. Colonic irrigation, what is it? Basically, from everything I've read, you go in somewhere, if they stick a tube up your butt, they flush you out. That's colonic irrigation. Now, what is the harm in having this done? Well, there's actually three things. Well, four. The fourth thing is it does no good. It doesn't help you. One person locally advertises it helps it. I mean, she just rattles off almost every known illness and disease known to mankind, and even puts in there, excuse me, that your vision can be helped and your hearing, your hearing can be helped. That's what I need. I need my hearing helped. Think about this. These people are sticking tubes up your butts, and they're telling you that they're going to heal all these kinds of things. Now, there's four problems. First problem is, number one, it doesn't do any of that. Keep in mind, I have no medical training. Hey, you don't have to. Just get on the internet, look around, and you'll find out. One thing that's truly harmful is the fact that we have stuff in us that needs to stay there. We have these bacteria and all that kind of mess in the colon and everything. That's good for us. So what happens if we flush all this stuff out? That stuff is no longer there, and that can really cause some problems. The other problem it can cause is you can perforate an intestine, or people have died, no, not millions, but people have died because of contamination. In other words, they didn't clean the damn stuff before they take it out of one person's butt and shove it up your butt, and you get, infections, and people have died from these infections. Now, of course, the government, I'm sure, is looking out for us. Now, I can't speak for other states or whatever. Let me back up. The only reason I could come up with that I found that this would be beneficial is if you're going to have surgery down there. That makes perfect sense. In other words, they want to clean you out, so that the surgery goes well. That does make sense. Everything else, forget it. But what was I going to say? Oh, the government's looking out for us. Well, what I did is I went to our State Board of Medicine. They claim they have nothing to do with this. In other words, if somebody wants to buy a machine, stick a tube up your butt, flush you out, they have nothing to do with that. They suggested I call the State Board of Medicine, which I did. State Board of Medicine said, oh no, we don't have anything to do with that. Call your local Board of Medicine, which I did. I called the local Board of Medicine, and the guy said, no, we have nothing to do with that. So I guess the question I posed to him, so in other words, if I want to buy a machine and stick a tube up someone's butt, that doesn't concern you. Well, I'm not sure if it concerns them or doesn't concern them, but there's no regulation. In other words, there's no oversight. No one inspects these places. No one goes there to see, number one, since the whole thing is bogus and doesn't do anything, it's sort of moot, but that the stuff's even clean. That's even in a surgical or clean environment. That isn't even done. Now, in my state, I'm not sure about your state, if I wanted to be a barber, I have to get a license. If I want to cut your hair, I have to get a license. If I want to sell you a car, I have to get a license. If I want to sell you insurance, I have to get a license. I mean, almost everything we do, there's a license. But if I want to stick a tube up your butt, I don't need a license. And nobody's going to come in and say, have you had any training? No one's going to come in and say, is your machine clean? No one's going to do anything. Folks, don't get a tube stuck up your butt. It's not going to do you any good, and it could hurt you. It could kill you. People have died from this. And as Pat Condell would say, peace.